Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to all of you in the virtual learning system of Pakistan International School type. This is grade 10. We are studying biology, chapter number 12. Today's our topic is receptor in humans. That is eye. Receptors in humans. Now, first of all, I want to tell you about receptor. What is a receptor? Receptors are the specialized cells, tissues, or organs which are specifically built to detect particular type of stimuli, are called sense organs or receptors. But in this level, in this case, these receptor organs are eyes and ears. Today we will discuss about the eye. Human eye. What is the eye? How you can define it? The human eye is an organ which reacts to light and pressure. As a sense organ, the mammalian eye allows vision. A normal eye looks like. And this is the human eye. This is the human eye. How many eyes we have? Two eyes. And where eyes are located? Eyes are located in small portions of skull known as orbit. Known as orbit. Orbit means hole, or you can say eye sockets. How many sockets are how many orbits in the skull? On your face, there are two orbits. There are two orbits, and eyes are located in these orbits. Where? In the skull. Okay, this is the location of the eyes. Now, how eyes are protected? How eyes are protected? Eyes are protected by eyelids and then eyelashes. Okay, eyes are protected by eyelids and eyelashes. First of all, you can see here eyelids. This one and this one. How many eyes? There are two eyes, and eyes are located in two holes or in two orbits in the skull, and these are called eye sockets. These are called eye sockets, and eyes are protected by the eyelids. You can see this one is eyelid. Now, what is the function of the eyelids? Eyelids work as a wiper. Eyelids work as a wiper. I mean, eyelids wipes our eyes and also prevent dehydration. After 2 minutes, we should wipe, or we have to wipe our eyes, because in our eyes there are tear glands, and these tear glands secrete tears. Tears are secreted by tear glands. And what is the function of the eyelids? Eyelids spread tears on our eyes. Because our eyes have direct contact with the air, and in the air there are many types of bacteria and dust particles, and these bacteria can go or can enter in our eyes. And these tears, those are secreted by tear glands. These tear contain special type of chemical that is called lysosome. What is the function of the lysosome? Lysosome, this chemical or lysosome kill the bacteria. Which bacteria? Those enter in our eye from the outside. Okay, this is the function of the eyelid. Now next is our eyes are protected by eyelashes. Our eyes are protected by eyelashes. This one. Can you see? These are the eyelashes. Human eyes are protected and lined by eyelashes. Each eyelid has a single row of eyelash. Have you seen anyone have 2 or 3 rows? No. Some people have like long eyelashes and some short, but one layer, not more than one. Okay, everyone have only one layer of eyelashes. A single eyelash is anchored by a root hair flexes to the eyelid, and this aids in help. This helps in the reflex action of the eyelid to close when a foreign particle enters it. I told you before, our eyes have direct contact with air, and from the air, bacteria and also some dust particles can go in our eyes. Okay, so eyes are protected by the eyelids and eyelashes. Is it clear? Now, what is the structure of the eye? You can see this is the structure of human eye. This is the structure of human eye, and just look at this one. This is sclera, retina, choroid, fovea, optic nerve, lens, iris, cornea, anterior chamber or aqueous humor, vitreous chamber or vitreous humor, suspensory ligaments. Okay, this is the structure of human eye. Now, inshallah, one by one, we discuss about the human eye. There are how many layers of the human eye? There are 3 layers of a human eye. There are 3 layers of the eye, or you can say walls of the eye. How many? 3. Outer one is fibrous, that is consist of sclera and cornea. This one you can see, this is the sclera and this is the cornea. Middle layer, it includes choroid, ciliary body, iris, pupil, ciliary muscle, suspensory ligament. Okay, these all are parts of middle layer. And third one is inner layer, that is called, it is nervous layer, and it is called retina. It is called retina. Okay, so how many layers of the eye? There are 3 layers of the eye: outer layer, middle layer, and inner layer. Now, one by one, we will discuss each layer. Now, first one, this is the outer layer of the eye. This is the outer layer of the eye. This outer layer or fibrous layer of the eyeball consists of 2 components. These components are sclera and the cornea. These components are sclera and cornea. Now, sclera, this is the outermost layer of the eye. That's why it is called outer layer. Sclera, it is the outermost layer of the eye, and it gives eye most of its white color. Have you seen there are how many colors in our eye? 2 colors. One is white and other is black. Okay. So sclera, it gives most of the white color in our eye. Okay. And what is the function of the sclera? It maintains position and shape of the eyeball. This is the eyeball. This hole is the eyeball. And in this eyeball, sclera, it consists of, or you can say, it can give most of the white color of the eye, and its function is it gives it maintain position and shape of the eyeball. Now, second is about cornea. Second is about cornea. Cornea covers the anterior portion. Cornea covers the anterior part, and cornea is a transparent layer in your eye. When you look at in your eyes, then eyes look very shiny. When there is a transparent layer, and that transparent layer formed by sclera, and that transparent layer is called cornea. Is it clear? When in your eyes there is a transparent layer, how it is formed? Transparent layer, it is formed by sclera, and that transparent layer is called transparent cornea, or you can say simply it is the cornea. Okay, this is the second part of outer layer. Now, next is middle layer. Number two is middle layer. Middle layer, it is consists of, you can say it's another name is choroid. Middle layer is also called choroid, and it consists of iris, pupil, ciliary muscles, suspensory uh, ligament. Okay. Now, what about the choroid? What about the choroid? It is thin, highly pigmented vascular low connective tissues, and it gives eye most of its dark color. Why? Due to the rich in melanocytes. Okay. In choroid, there is too much melanocytes, and this melanocyte gives dark color to our eye. And choroid, it is situated between the sclera and the retina. Situated between the sclera and the retina. You can see this is the choroid, and this is the retina, and this is the sclera. Sclera is the outermost layer, choroid middle layer, and retina inner layer. Okay. Now, choroid also, I told you, it contains blood vessels, and also it gives the inner eye mostly black color, and this black color due to the high pigmentation of melanocytes. Okay. And when choroid layer reach near the lens, then it bends to form a ring of muscle. Okay. It bends and form a ring of muscle. That muscle is called iris. That muscle is called iris. Now here we will discuss about iris. Iris muscle, there are two types of muscles. There are two types of muscles, circular muscles and radial muscles. You can see in the diagram in this one, these are the circular muscles. They are moving in circle like this, in a circle. These are called circular muscles, and this one it is called radial muscles. Circular muscles are round in shape, you can see here, and radial muscles, you can say half of the circle, half of the circle from here to here. Okay, these are called radial muscles, but in round shape, these are called circular muscles. Okay, this is about the iris muscles. Meaning, how many iris muscles? There are two types of iris muscles: circular muscles and radial muscles. And you should know about circular muscles. These are round in shape, and radial muscles, you can say half of the circle. It is called radial muscle. Now, in the center of the iris, in the center of the iris, you can see this one white color. I told you sclera, and dark color mostly bright. And here this is the iris. This is the iris. In the center of the iris, there is a pupil. This one. Okay. In the center of the iris, there is a hole, and that hole is called pupil. This one. Can you see? This hole is called pupil. Now, how pupil contract and dilate? How pupil contract and dilate when light strikes the cornea. When light strikes the cornea. First one, you can see this is the cornea. First of all, light strikes on cornea. After striking on the cornea, light passes to the pupil. Light passes to the pupil, and that time the size of the pupil adjusted by the muscles of iris. Muscles of the iris. Muscles of the iris. Now here are two cases. In this case, in this one, you can see in this one pupil constricts, and in this one pupil dilates. Now, what happens in this case? When pupil constricts in the bright light, that time circular muscles contract. That time circular muscles contract. Here you can see these are the circular muscles in the bright light. When bright light falls on the pupil, then what happens? Circular muscles contract Okay, and circular muscles contract and radial muscles you can see relax. Radial muscles relax and our pupil size of the pupil becomes constant. Is it clear? Now in this case you can see here you can see the pupil size is increased. How it is increased or how it is dilated? It is dilated in the dim light. In the dim light, when there is dim light, in dim light, what happens? Circular muscles relax and radial muscles contract, and that time the size of the pupil increase, or you can say dilated pupil. Is it clear? This is about the bright light and dim light, about when circular muscles relax and when contract. When radial muscles contract and when radial muscles relax. And keep in your mind only there are two things. When pupil constrict, that time circular muscles contract and radial muscles relax. And when it happens in the bright light. Now what happened in the dim light? In dim light, pupil increase in size, or you can say pupil dilates. And when pupil dilates, then circular muscles relax and radial muscles contract. Is it clear? Now here you can see the actions of the reflex action of the pupil, reflex action and antagonistic muscle action. I told you before about circular muscles and radial muscles, but here you can see again what happened in the bright light and what happened in the dim light. In bright light, you can see here size of the pupil constrict, and in dim light, pupil dilates. Okay. Now here you can see when in bright light when pupil constrict, then what happens? Circular muscles contract, radial muscles relax, and pupil constricted. Now in dim light, what happened in the dim light? In dim light, radial muscles contract, circular muscles relax, and pupils dilate. Is it clear? This is about the dilated and constricted pupil. Okay. Now third layer, next is about the convex lens. There is a convex lens in your eye when light focuses on the retina. Lens attached, this is the lens, and lens attached to ciliary muscles of the eye. How? By a suspensory ligament. Inshallah, in next picture, I will tell you about the suspensory ligament. Okay, to see clearly object for away objects, ciliary muscles are relaxed and lens become less convex. But when ciliary muscles contract, then lens become more convex and round. Okay. Now look at this one, number 3. This is the innermost layer of the eye, or you can say retina. You can say innermost layer of the eye, and also you can say it is sensory layer of the eye, and its another name is retina. And this retina, it contains on two photoreceptor cells. These are the rods and cones. These are the rods and cones. And now one by one, each part of the retina we will discuss here. Uh, Retina, it is the innermost layer of the eye. It contains the photosensitive cells, and these photosensitive cells are rods and cones. Now, what about the rods? Rods are sensitive to dim light, and cones are sensitive to bright light. Okay. And next point is retina has 2 points. Retina has 2 points, fovea and optic disc. Now this one you can see, this is the fovea. Now what is a fovea? Fovea is a dip. Here you can see a dip. Fovea is a dip in retina, and it is on opposite side to the lens. Okay, this is the fovea, and where it is on the retina. You can see here are 3 layers. This is the outermost layer, sclera. This one is the middle layer choroid, and this one is the inner layer or third layer of the eye. You can say retina, and retina has 2 points. These 2 points are fovea and optic disc. First one is about fovea. This is the fovea. Now, what is a fovea? Fovea is a dip in retina, and it is to the opposite side of the lens. This is the lens. Can you see? And it is densely packed with cone cells. It is densely packed with cone cells. So that's why it is largely responsible for color vision and sharpness. Okay. Now next about optic disc. This is the second point of the retina. What about the optic disc? Here is the optic disc. Optic disc is a point on retina where the optic nerve enters retina. This is the optic nerve, and this nerve enters from here, and that point is called optic disc. And there are no rods and no cones at this point. That is why it is called blind spot. It is called blind spot. Understand? In retina has how many points? 2 points, fovea and optic disc. This one you can see fovea. It is a dip on the retina and it is on the opposite side of the lens. Now, what about the optic disc? Here is the optic disc, where the optic nerve enters the retina. But optic discs don't have cone cells, don't have rod cells. That's why this point is called blind spot. Blind spot. This point is called blind spot. Is it clear? Now, next one about the chambers of the eye. Here you can see vitreous chamber, anterior chamber, or posterior chamber. Okay. So chambers of the eye. How many chambers of the eye? There are two chambers of the eye: anterior chamber and posterior chamber. Anterior chamber, this one, and the posterior, or you can say vitreous chamber. Now, what about these chambers? This is about the iris. This is about the iris. Iris divides the cavity of eye into two chambers, the anterior chamber, and this chamber is in front of iris. You can see this is the iris, and this one is the anterior chamber, or you can say this chamber is present between the cornea and the iris. Is it clear? Can you see? This is the iris and this is the cornea, and this one is the anterior chamber. It is present between the cornea and iris. Now, what about the posterior chamber? Now, this one is the posterior chamber, and this posterior chamber is present between iris and retina. This is the iris and this is the retina. So, this chamber is called posterior chamber. And the anterior chamber, it has clear fluid. That's why it is called aqueous humor. That's why it is called or known as aqueous humor. Now, what about the posterior chamber, or you can say vitreous chamber? This posterior chamber, it contains a jelly-like fluid known as vitreous humor or vitreous humor. Is it clear? This is about the chambers of the eye. Anyone examiner or anyone can ask from you a question: what is the difference between an anterior chamber and the posterior chamber, or what is the difference between aqueous humor or vitreous humor? So there are two chambers in your eye. One is anterior chamber and another is posterior chamber. Where is the anterior chamber? It is present between the cornea and iris, and it contains a clear fluid. That's why it is called aqueous, known as aqueous humor. And now, what about the posterior chamber? It is present between the iris and the retina, and it contains a jelly-like fluid. That's why it is known as vitreous humor. Is it clear? Now, what is the function of these chambers? It helps to maintain the shape of eye and suspended the delicate lens. Okay, students. Now, last topic of last part of this topic, process of vision. Process of vision means how you can see. We know that when light enters from objects, then enters in our eyes and is reflected. And after reflection, it passes through a cornea. After reflection, it passes through a cornea. This one is the cornea. From cornea, it passes it go to the aqueous humor. From aqueous humor, then it enters in the lens, and from lens it enters into a vitreous humor. Vitreous humor. Is it clear? First light passes to cornea, then aqueous humor, from aqueous humor to lens, from lens it enters into the vitreous humor. And then what happens? This lens focus light on retina. This is the retina. Okay. Lens, this lens focus light on the retina. Then what happens when lights focused by lens on the retina? Then image falls on retina. Then image falls on retina, and then rods and cones generate nerve impulses in the optic nerve, and these this impulse carry to the brain. Carry to the brain from here, carry to the brain, which makes the sensation of vein, which makes the sensation of vein. Now, what about the rods and cone cells? How rods and cone cells generate nerve impulse? We know that rods contains a pigment. That pigment is called rhodopsin. That pigment is called rhodopsin. And how it rhodopsin formed? It is formed when opsin is converted into rhodopsin in the presence of vitamin A. In the presence of vitamin A. And if we have deficiency of vitamin A, then it can cause poor night vision. We can't see in the night, okay? And this problem is called night blindness. Now, what about the cones? Cones also contain a pigment. That pigment is known as iodopsin, and cone cells are sensitive to bright light. Cone cells are sensitive to bright light, and each type of there are three types of cone cells, and each type has a specific iodopsin that is recognized by three primary colors. These colors are blue, green, and red. And if any one person don't have any one of this iodopsin, that it becomes difficult to recognize that color. So, like such persons or people or cannot distinguish different colors, and these persons this disease is called color blindness. This disease is called color blindness. Okay, so there are two types of these diseases. One is night blindness and another is color blindness. Night blindness we can treat because it is caused due to the deficiency of vitamin A. But we can't treat color blindness because it is a genetic disorder. It is a genetic disorder, so we can't treat color blindness. Is it clear? Now, last one is disorders of the eye. Disorders of the eye. There are two types of disorders. One is myopia, and another is hypermetropolis. Now, what happened in the myopia? This one you can see. This is the myopia. And look at this diagram. In myopia, actually, it is actually the elongation of eyeball, and in this case, image is formed in front of the retina, and we can't see distant objects clearly. You can see this is the, I told you before, when light passes through cornea, from cornea to aqueous humor, from aqueous humor to lens, and then lens focus that light on the retina. Focus that light on the retina. But what happened in the myopia? In myopia, this lens cannot focus light on retina, and image is formed before the, or you can say in front of the retina. Here you can see, here is image. Image is formed in front of the retina, and this disease is also called short-sightedness or short sight or myopia. Is it clear? And what is the treatment of myopia? This defect or this disease can be treated by using concave lens. By using concave lens. When we use concave lens, then what happens? Parallel rays passes through the concave lens, and what is the function of the concave lens? Concave lens, we know that it diverges the rays of the light. Concave lens, it diverges the rays of the light, and then by using the concave lens, we can treat this disorder, myopia. Is it clear? Now, next is hypermetropia. Next is hypermetropia, a condition of the eye in which parallel rays are focused behind the retina and distant objects can be seen more distinctly than near ones. I mean, in this case, also it is also called long sightedness, and in this case, actually the shortens of eyeball and image is formed behind the retina. That is image formed behind the retina. Here you can see this is the image behind the retina. This is the retina. Actually, in normal condition, image should be formed on retina, but in myopia, image formed in front of the retina here, and in hypermetropia, image formed behind the retina here. Image formed behind the retina, and this person cannot see near objects clearly. Is it clear? So this defect can be treated by using another converging lens, that is convex lens. Okay, students, this is the topic of today, and in this topic, Alhamdulillah, we have discussed till this order, and next, inshallah, we will do second receptor, that is eye. Okay, okay, students, take care. Allah Hafiz.